Tonight on KGW News, a first step toward reopening the government brings a rush of relief.
Because normal people like us are out here kind of feeling the effects more than anything.
Why Oregon senators are calling the deal disturbing. Then it's the spot that banged up cars on the way to the coast.
There were a lot of people reporting that they caught air.
Why it appears the bunk is now back. Plus, Oregon's governor finally signs new transportation taxes into law, sparking a whirlwind campaign.
We believe that they ought to at least have an opportunity to vote on it.
And later, the rescue caught on camera as witnesses grab a driver from his burning car. Good evening, and we begin on this Monday with what may be the deal that ends the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco. The Senate tonight passing a temporary funding package after 7 Democrats and an independent broke rank. So here is the bottom line. It extends current government funding through January. It also includes long-term funding bills for 3 government agencies, including the USDA, which funds SNAP food benefits. And the bill reverses the layoffs of federal workers handed down at the start of the shutdown. This, of course, now has to go through the House with a vote there set for no earlier than Wednesday. Notably, the bill does not include anything around extending Affordable Care Act subsidies, the red line for most Democrats, with all 4 senators from Oregon and Washington opposing the bill for that very reason. Instead, the deal includes a promise of a vote next month on extending those subsidies, though late tonight Senator Jeff Merkley expressed doubt that vote will amount to much.
Yeah, I'm extremely disturbed by what's happening tonight because a group from our caucus made a deal to end our leverage, which produces simply some vote in the future that won't actually be a bill that has a chance of getting out of the Senate, let alone through the House. And that undercut our effort, for sure, to produce a health care win.
By the way, until this is a done deal, expect flight cancellations to continue, with the FAA telling airlines to cut 10% of daily flights by the end of the week. We talked to one man at PDX today who's had his flight canceled 4 times.
It's kind of defeating to show up to the airport and see that your flight's been canceled last minute, and now you got to go get another hotel, go get another rental car, because the airlines aren't going to provide you any sort of vouchers or anything like that. So.
Well, looking ahead to tomorrow, 11 departing flights and 10 arriving flights at PDX have already been canceled. Stay with KGW News as these updates come in. We'll talk about SNAP benefits and why the battle is now back at the Supreme Court, even though Oregon's already paid out, a little bit later in this newscast. The first new tonight, immigration officials are reportedly looking to open a new ICE enforcement facility on the Oregon coast, and some Newport city leaders are now sounding the alarm. According to city officials, they're looking at the Newport Municipal Airport as a possible location. Leaders, however, caution they are unclear on exactly what the facility would be used for and say they haven't gotten answers yet from Homeland Security. City Council is holding a meeting Wednesday evening at 6 to discuss. In a statement, Mayor Jan Kaplan calling the idea deeply concerning, adding, quote, "We are committed to uphold fairness and dignity for all who call Newport home. Any proposal that has the potential to impact those principles deserves transparency, public input, and a thorough review of potential social and economic consequences." Of course, we'll keep you updated here as we learn more. All right, let's take you outside now on this Monday night. Another beautiful and dry day after a weekend that had so many of us getting outside and making the most of it. Matt's here with your first look at how tomorrow's shaping up, Matt.
Yeah, that's right, David. It was a great weekend. It really today was dry for most of us. There were a few sprinkles here and there, but not bad. We're certainly dry right now. Portland is 53. It is cloudy, and the low clouds may actually do us a favor of keeping it from getting foggy in the morning. You see it Salem right now also not raining, 52, and cloudy down in the mid-valley too, but we'll have to watch the visibility carefully. It's down to 1.5 miles at Astoria. Was lower last hour. It's come up a bit. That's the only place really experiencing any fog right now. So we'll keep tabs on that and around the rest of the state for what could be some thick fog in the morning hours. Fog or low clouds either way. Then becoming partly sunny. Tomorrow will climb to about 56. Look at the sunset at 4:44 as the days continue to get shorter, of course, as we roll through the month of November. All right, here's what's on tap. Fog or low clouds overnight tonight. We'll get sun tomorrow, though. We'll break up. We'll have at least some sunshine tomorrow. And the rain is still in the forecast for late Wednesday, although I'm leaning more towards Thursday at this point. And it doesn't look all that rainy as we go through the weekend. It looks rainy, but not all that rainy. I'll have more on that later, David.
A little bit more of a break. Thanks, Matt. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a Portland man will spend 30 years in prison for plotting a mass shooting at a climbing festival at Smith Rock State Park. When authorities arrested Samson Garner in October 2023, they say he was armed with multiple guns, body armor, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Police say he planned to open fire on climbers and spectators. A Deschutes County jury convicted Garner on 23 felony charges, including attempted murder and assault. A Washington County man faces numerous sexual assault charges and is now accused in a murder for hire plot. Authorities say 58-year-old Drew Hendricks offered to pay two men to kill someone. According to investigators, the men planned the murder while they were all in the Washington County jail. The targeted victim was not hurt. Hendricks is also accused in sexual assault and kidnapping cases in both Aloha and Columbia County. All three men are now in custody. New tonight, Portland firefighters had to rescue a person from this wreckage in the Cully neighborhood. That's after authorities say a car flipped near Northeast Cully and Emerson Street, and the person was pinned underneath. Firefighters got them out and onto the hospital. No word on their condition right now or if anyone else was hurt. And a Clackamas County deputy is on leave after shooting a man near Sandy. This was around 10 last night after a 911 caller reported his 44-year-old son had set a utility trailer on fire. Deputies and a state trooper say they found the man along Southeast 362nd. Though the sheriff's office did not say exactly what led up to the shooting, the man was taken to the hospital and is now in stable condition. New tonight, some Republicans are pushing back after Oregon's governor signed a multi-billion-dollar transportation bill into law, one that took a special session to pass. Alma McCarty's in the newsroom. Alma, the law raises a number of taxes and sounds like the GOP plans to fight them.
Yeah, David, we started hearing rumblings during the special session. Should the transportation package pass, which it did, opponents said they would try and refer it back to the voters. And today, those lawmakers filed the paperwork to begin that process.
Funding to clear snowy streets, to maintain bridges and roads, and to preserve public transit. Signed into law Friday by Governor Tina Kotek. In a statement Monday, she said she is grateful to the legislature for stepping up and keeping our state moving. The emergency transportation package, which required a special session to pass, will raise $4.3 billion in new funding over 10 years, mostly for road maintenance. Touted as a win by Democrats, Oregon Republicans feel differently.
Unfortunately, the majority wasn't really interested in a negotiation. Really what they wanted was the Republicans to agree to a massive tax increase without the reforms that are necessary. And that's the rub, really.
So on Monday, Senate Republican leader Bruce Starr filed the paperwork with the Secretary of State to refer those taxes to the voters.
So we're referring only for the taxes. We're referring the gas tax, so the 6-cent gas tax increase. We're referring the title fee increase, which is any time you buy a new vehicle. The increase in the registration fee, so that's every 2 years when you register your vehicle, you pay that fee. And then the payroll tax.
He's got until the end of the year to collect more than 78,000 signatures, and he says less time to do it since the governor waited to sign the bill into law for 30-plus days.
The reality is that the time that the governor took to delay, we weren't sitting on our hands. We were organizing, we were communicating. We were raising money.
Following the special session, Starr explains more than 4,000 Oregonians have expressed support for a petition. However, he says it won't be easy.
It's no doubt it's going to be a challenge. There's no question about that.
And if the group gets to their goal, and they're hoping for 100,000 signatures, the Secretary of State will take January to verify each one. It could be on the ballot next November. David?
Worth noting that the governor will also be on the ballot next November. Thanks, Alma. Well, let's return to the government shutdown now, and specifically SNAP benefits. And while the Senate has passed a bill that would fund SNAP through next year, until that is a done deal, the fight over benefits plays out in court.
It's hard for people to make life choices when they don't know what's coming next.
That's the director of William Temple House, a food pantry in Northwest Portland, working to fill the gap. They've seen a record number of people show up this month and have created emergency bags to make sure everyone can take something home. Oregon and Washington already started paying out SNAP benefits last Thursday, by the way, after a lower court ruled the Trump administration had to fund November benefits in full. Now, since then, you may remember the Supreme Court has put the ruling on hold. The administration has told states to take back benefits. But Oregon and Washington's governors say they will fight any efforts to claw back funding and encourage anyone with balances on their cards to use them. We expect the Supreme Court to weigh in again tomorrow. And the Supreme Court could also weigh in on how early you have to mail in your ballot. The court's just taken up a case out of Mississippi over whether ballots should have to arrive by Election Day at the very latest in order to be counted. That's after the Fifth Circuit ruled allowing late arrivals violated federal law. In Oregon, by the way, ballots can arrive up to a week after Election Day. The case is set to be argued early next year. Developing tonight, thousands of workers at OHSU are set to vote this week on whether to authorize a strike. Some 8,000 employees, which include everyone from painters and custodians to pharmacists and therapists, are asking for better pay for some of their lower paid workers.
It's disheartening to see other institutions in the Portland metro area, like bagel shops or car washes, offering $23 to $25 an hour for very entry-level jobs. Our workers, no matter what our workers do, are specialized, and they are absolutely critical to the mission of OHSU.
OHSU says it will continue bargaining toward an agreement that works for both sides. Best and final offers are due by Wednesday, followed by a mandatory 30-day cooling off period before any strike could potentially occur.